It's another playoff game for the Boston Bruins inside the Toronto bubble. It's round one, game four of the best of seven series for the first round. Boston taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. The Carolina Hurricanes, for the second time, are the home team. And it's another Bruins power playoff game without David Pastrnak. It's his, I believe, his third straight game missed. And the Bruins really missing him because most of their goals have been on the power play. They haven't really scored much 5-on-5 since game one. The only 5-on-5 goal that the Bruins have scored is a Brad Marchand empty netter. Not good. But not good news for Carolina either, as forward Andrei Svechnikov will not be in the lineup tonight. A tough loss indeed. Again, I hope he recovers and is able to play at some point in this series. And also, other news, Anders Bjork remains on the top line, not for long, we'll get to that, and that means Jack Studnicka, the stud, remains on the third line, and Rod the Bod Brindamore, he goes back to James Reimer for tonight, instead of Peter Mrazek, who played in the previous game. So, can the Bruins, without David Pastrnak, yet again, pull another one out and become 2 games ahead of the Carolina Hurricanes? Find out on the next Bruins Recap Show. Boston Bruins. In the first period, it's Yaroslav Halak for Boston, and as previously mentioned, James Reimer for the Carolina Hurricanes. And Ryan Dzingel, about a minute and 40 seconds in, he high sticks. And you can't do that. Boston goes immediately to the power play, which ultimately does nothing, as the Bruins do not look really in sync in the first period. They're getting a lot of possession, but not a lot of real good, solid, quality chances. Not a lot of passes connecting. It doesn't look like it's there early on. And it ends up in a weird one as a puck battle win from Vincent Trocheck. He ends up on the stick of Justin Williams. Little give and go with Jake Gardiner. And Studnicka, instead of staying with Justin Williams, proceeds to go and cover Jake Gardiner, which is a big mistake because it gives Williams time and space, and he takes a wrist shot, and Halak doesn't know if Dzingel's going to tip it or doesn't know where to put the glove. He misses it completely, and it's a 1-0 hockey game for Carolina. Just not good. More intensity from the Carolina Hurricanes in the first, and it also counters into the second period. And Boston having a habit of not hitting the net in that period. One specific example, Jack Studnicka, a great pass through the legs, a drop pass to Brandon Carlo, and Brandon Carlo just sails it. It goes flying over the net away from James Reimer, who doesn't get a chance to even try to make a save on it because it was such a terrible shot. We go to the second period, and before this goal happens, Boston gets another power play. And, I mean, Nesson is praising this power play for, getting some good chances and getting some possession. Like, they possessed it in the offensive zone the whole time. But I've noticed one major problem with the Boston power play, at least as it has been of the last couple of times. There is very little movement. There might be, some swapping of players here and there. But it's very much they stay in the same kind of spots. You have 2 guys on the boards. You got the bumper in the middle. One guy usually is in front of the net or off to the side behind the net. And Torrey Krug is generally always at the point. And that's about it. There's usually they stay in kind of that position. Maybe players rotate in and out of spots. But it makes it rather easy to defend because you know where the puck's going. It's either going to go high to the point, they're going to put it into the bumper, or they're generally, what's been lately going on is David Krejci, who's playing the David Pastrnak role, the puck's going to go to him. And That's basically what happened. So a lot of chances on the power play on this particular one, but not a lot of movement. I'd love to see them maybe do something different, maybe a different look on the power play instead of just getting into that set play, that set structure. It's a very overly structured power play is kind of what I'm getting at. Either way, it's a transition game after the power play from the Carolina Hurricanes, and Sebastian Aho will get the puck on a stick, and 3 Bruins players end up looking right at him and completely miss Jordan Martinhook, who streaks down behind them all. Yaroslav Halak is way off his angle, and Martinhook beats him, makes it 2-0. And the big surprise for this period, Carolina owning the faceoff circle and playing with a ton of believability, momentum, and tempo. But all will change in the third period as Boston starts to battle back, and it starts with a breakout pass, a breakout from Boston as Connor Clifton loses the puck, but it ends up on the stick of Ondrej Kase, so I guess that counts as an assist. Sure, why not? It's a stretch pass to Jake DeBrusk, who has all the speed in the world, beats a Carolina defender, and I don't know what James Reimer was thinking here. Maybe he saw the puck was just enough ahead of Jake DeBrusk, but I don't know if he knows Jake DeBrusk very well. Jake DeBrusk, very fast on his skates. So Reimer goes for the diving poke check like he's playing NHL Chell and ends up getting outmaneuvered by Jake DeBrusk. Wide open net. This time Jake DeBrusk doesn't miss it. Makes it a 2-1 hockey game, and Sully's season is all season. A little bit later on, it's a dump and chase from the Bruins, and Chris Wagner pressures Jake Gardiner behind the net, and anybody who is in Toronto is watching this going, oh God, no, we've seen this story before. It's a turnover to Joakim Nordstrom. He circles the net, finds Connor Clifton, Cliffy hockey with a laser beam, beats James Reimer, high blocker, and we got ourselves a tied hockey game. But it continues on a little bit later. Justin Williams looking for Vincent Trocheck. It's taken by Torrey Krug. Torrey Krug goes indirect for Brad Marchand, who saw the steal and said, I'm going that way. And Brad Marchand beats everybody and goes 5-hole on James Reimer off the indirect pass from Torrey Krug. The Bruins battle back in the third period and take the lead. And now they extend it. As Matt Grizzy streaking into the Carolina zone, he loses the puck to Nekas. It's intercepted at the point by David Krejci. Great play here from David Krejci to be the third guy high. Reads the play well, intercepts the puck, gives it over to Ondrej Kase in the high slot, who's immediately pressured, but realizes, hey, that's Jake DeBrusk down on the low, puts it to Jake DeBrusk's stick, and he dekes out James Reimer. 4-2, Boston battling back, and yet again, in the playoffs, in Toronto, not for Toronto, James Reimer gives up 4 goals in the third period, and history repeats itself. With 1:27 left in the empty net, Teuvo Teravainen will make it a goal closer than it should have been. 4-3, the Boston Bruins play 20 minutes of spectacular hockey. They outshot Carolina in the third period, 16-2. So, take it quickly to the 3 stars of the game. Star number 3, I'll give it to Torrey Krug. Why not? The third star was a little bit hard to pick. Torrey Krug with that beautiful indirect feed, I think, and the steal on top of that. Could have gave it to David Krejci, or could have gave it to Chris Wagner. So, honorable mentions there, if you will. Star number 2, Cliffy Hockey, asserting himself into the lineup with a goal and an assist tonight. And star number 1, Sully's season is back to the playoffs. Jake DeBrusk, 2 big ones, including the one to open the floodgates for James Reimer, if you will. Boston will take a commanding 3-1 series lead. Now, the big question, again, for Game 5, will we see David Pastrnak? Will he return to the lineup? I know Bruce Cassidy said he was 50-50 to play today. Hopefully those odds are better come Wednesday afternoon. But we are not sure of then. And the other question, because we did see a lot of line juggling from Bruce Cassidy in the second and third periods, including moving Charlie Coyle up to the first line, dropping Anders Bjork. This new look third line with Studnicka, Corrali, and Bjork, which was woefully ineffective. At least it just didn't look good. I don't know if they've ever really put those three guys on a line, but they looked very ineffective, and the chemistry just not there for that line. Again, I put it on the fact that maybe sit Bjork, move Studnicka up, or keep Bjork on the third line and move Studnicka to the first line and try that, see how that works. But either way, Wednesday at 4 o'clock, game number 5, Boston will look to end the series and send Carolina home out of the Toronto bubble. But do not take your foot off the gas for a second until it is over and you win the 4th game. And hopefully they can pull that off. 4 o'clock on Wednesday. We'll see you then on the next Bruins Recap Show.